And last but certainly not least, Councilor Sasai.
I feel bad because my comments are going to be pretty long, but we did it, y'all. We really did this, and it's truly an honor of a lifetime to be serving the city council of the city in which I was born and raised. I'm born and raised here in Pinole. I believe the only other person who is born and raised here in Pinole on this council is Councilmember Maureen Toms. And so first off, I want to praise Jesus and all the blessings and adversities that built my character and led me to this point. I remember the very first few days of knocking on doors here in Pinole, and I came across a resident, my neighbor, and she didn't like me. She thought I was too young, didn't think I was a viable candidate, and she said something that I remember, and she said, it would take a miracle for you to be voted in. And to that I say amen, because we're here. And it took a lifetime of miracles to get to this point, through disappointments, anxiety, depression, and like always, God always comes through for his people. So I want to thank my amazing parents, Mary Lou and David, who are my role models. Thank you to my mom. Thank you to my mom who raised me to be who I am, to be strong, and to think independently. I don't know if y'all know this, but she's also one of the biggest reasons why we won this election. She helped campaign at farmers markets. She wrote to the East Bay Times, and she knocked on doors with me almost every day. And even on the days when I didn't want to canvass, she told me to get my behind out there and talk to people. She came here to the United States when she was not even a few years younger than I am right now. Moved from Quezon City, Philippines to the Bay Area and eventually to the city of Pinole in 1989. She's the definition of the American dream. I want to thank my dad for always being there for me. There wasn't a time when I thought he wasn't there or if I was not supported. He is why I have such a strong work ethic and why I grew up to have a love for justice. I remember a few weeks back he told me a story that he had when he grew up in a farm in Sacramento County, and how his grandmother would be screaming in the middle of the night because she was in agony from how hard she worked. My dad, his family, following the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II, worked as farm workers in Sacramento County, and they were on their hands and knees every single day picking fruit from the ground with little to no hope. Only the hope that one day their two sons would go to college, and they did. My dad is a proud alum of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and got his degree in mechanical engineering. And he raised and provided for two sons who are now doing incredible things. I want to thank all those who endorsed me and worked to get me elected: California Attorney General Rob Bonta, District Attorney Deanna Becton, Mayor Salimi, Mayor Pro Tem Murphy, and many others who believed in me and placed their confidence in me. AFSCME Local 1, Vince Wells and Steve Dorsey of Local 1230, the California Democratic Party, Our Revolution East Bay, 350 Contra Costa Action. Thank you for helping us get out the vote. Thank you for your support, and thank you for knocking on doors with me. Thank you to all the volunteers, my family, friends, neighbors who knocked on doors, dropped literature, donated. I had the world's best campaign manager, Victor Tiglau. Unfortunately, couldn't make it here today. But I'm also thankful for people who I consider my advisors, David and Irma Rupert, and John Bender, who worked tirelessly on this campaign with me. Last and certainly not least, thank you to my greatest mentor, my brother, Kyle Sasai. He is essentially the smarter, more well-spoken version of myself, and I'm very thankful for the sacrifices, hearing me vent, giving me advice, and keeping me in check, that I walk with honesty, integrity, and with compassion for the marginalized, not condescension, philanthropy, but meeting people where they're at. And in honor of my brother who gave me a book by Dr. Cornel West when I was in high school. I'm going to share a Dr. Cornel West quote with you all today. And it's, if you seriously talk about loving people, then you ought to have a deep hatred of injustice. And if you have a deep hatred of injustice, you ought to be able to do more. And serving on this council is my version of doing more for my community. This is a new era for Pinole, and to our residents, I will be your strongest advocate and will always put your needs above special interest. And while my name is on this dais, this is the people's seat. I work for you, and I will approach this office with the same tenacity that I approached my community engagement during my campaign. I'm looking forward to working with our amazing city council and city staff to address your needs with a focus on responsible community-led budgeting, protecting Black lives, keeping power accountable, and putting equity and justice first when we pursue policy. Once again, thank you for your vote and this opportunity to represent and serve the people in the great city of Pinole. Thank you.